Hello, everybody, and welcome back to One Hub Racing. We are here in Brazil for the finale of season 27, and of course, joined alongside me in the commentary box is Colin.
Good afternoon, Nick. Good afternoon, all, or good evening, sort of. I can't wait for this. This is going to be a barnstorming evening of racing. Every single tier has championships needed to be decided. And in this P3 tier, we have crowned our drivers' champion, Nick, but we have not crowned our runner-up, or third place, or the constructors.
Yeah, so we got four drivers battling it out for second and third. Of course, you will win a trophy if you finish in either of those positions in the Drivers' Championship. So four drivers fighting for that, your dad being one of them, Cole. And then, of course, in the Constructors' Championship, it's incredibly close at the top of the standing. But, of course, we've got to remember that Ferrari only have one driver to help them score points tonight after Fury received a race ban for last week.
Yeah, so Fury exceeded 7 points on his license, meaning that he gets an automatic race ban. So Fury very disappointed not to be involved in this race and trying to fight for that constructors. But it's, anything can happen in Formula One. The McLarens could have a nightmare race. And Vitinho have an absolute stormer, and then it's back into the hands of Ferrari. But at the moment, I would say it's advantage McLaren.
Yeah, of course, short track here around Brazil, so expect drivers to be out there quickly. You can squeeze 4 runs in here tonight if you don't mess around too much in the garage. Of course, short lap, so expect the field and qualifying to be nice and close. I tell you what, there's one of the Williams who started his lap really close to the Ferrari of Vitinho as they run up top of the hill. In fact, the McLaren's not that far in front either. And there's 4 cars, Cole, as Jamie's been disqualified from the session.
Been disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. Now, I might be wrong, but I'm wondering, did he have an accident in the pit lane? Did he spin and then block the pit lane? But the driver has been disqualified, so that's not ideal. That's really not helping the Williams driver at all, and he's going to be starting this race in 15th place.
Yeah, I tell you the other thing there, I think Gazza came straight into the pits from his out lap, because I think he had contact with the barrier on the pit exit. Of course, Colt, it runs alongside the track, it's so narrow, obviously with walls either side, and I have seen that before where if you get stuck there, if you have a moment, because sometimes you go on the throttle and it just kind of accelerates pretty heavily, you spin it in the pit lane, you will get disqualified. So that's perhaps what's happened to Jamie, but for the moment, let's keep an eye on the times, because we're going to see a McLaren come across the line, Quinn Crump's across the line, Joe and Vitinho. So Vitinho 2.5 tenths off Joe at the moment. J.R. Mason, your dad, less than a tenth. So lap times coming thick and fast around here in Brazil. What a great track this is, Cole.
Oh, I absolutely love this track. I find it as Miles is the first driver in the 1 minute 8. He does a 1 minute 8.9. Yeah, I love this track. It's a proper classic F1 track. Scene of incredible races over the years, Lewis Hamilton's famous 2008 championship victory, Jenson Button the following season, when Vettel was going for his championship. We've had some amazing races around here, and I'm expecting the same tonight with these P3 drivers.
Yeah, and of course it's so many times it's been the scene of championship crowning moments, and as you said, although we've crowned our drivers champion here in the P3 tier, we are going to treat the second and third with just as much excitement, because we know it'll mean a lot to these drivers if they can finish on the top sets. Obviously there'll be prizes as well, so all to play for here tonight as rides are getting right on the curb on the exit of the final proper corner here in Sao Paulo. What can the Mercedes man do? Won last week, just about didn't win last week, won the week before. He's had good form the last few races, but these McLaren boys, they're looking pretty quick ever since they moved down from the P2 tier.
Yeah, Rydog's really performing well, and I got to be honest, I really admire Rydog. I just had a look at the P3 chat, and he actually tagged Mason and Matthias and wished them good luck for tonight, which is very, very classy from Rydog. I like that.
Yeah, it's great to see respect amongst the drivers, and we got championship battles all the way through this evening in the P2 tier. The hotly contested Drivers' Championship between Popper, Squanch and Morgan. So keep an eye on that. They're separated, I think, by 5 points, Cole. And
yeah, 5 points in it.
Yeah, they've hardly been separated all season. So looking forward to seeing who wins that one. As well as the Constructors, Lawrence slots it into third place on his latest lap. What about Gaza? He's on a quick lap at the moment. Jack Craig and Matthias on the mediums. And then, Cole, of course, in the P1 tier, you got your leading driver and the Drivers' Champion missing the finale. And so the guy in second, Kieran, he needs a podium to steal the championship away from Ben.
Yes, but looking at the practice, J. Cole is showing tremendous pace. So Kieran's not going to find it easy. Not in the slightest, but yeah, like you said, Nick, he needs a podium. If he finishes fourth, he is not champion.
So all to play for in one hub. We love the excitement of these final championship positions. But let's keep an eye on what's happening here in the P3 tier, because weather, Cole, we know it's going to be dry.
Yes, so no rain, but there is some light cloud and some overcast weather in the forecast. So that may help the drivers a little bit cool their tyres. Because we know through this game that trying to keep your pressures down is very, very important. Or temperatures down, sorry. The
practice race we did earlier, just after we finished the race, it was Alpine getting out of the way nicely there. For Quinn, it was actually raining as the results screen was showing. So because it is overcast towards the end of the race, there is a possibility you could see a few sprinkles of rain. But let's wait and see. As someone else Matt pops it up into 6th position. So expecting to be close with a short track. Nicholas pops it up into 5th now, 3 tenths off Miles' banker. 8 minute 9, 108.9, only driver into the 108 at the moment. Jack Craig still to set a lap time. Poor Jamie has been disqualified, as we mentioned. And looks like Joe is going to come across the line and take provisional pole.
Yes, a 1 minute 8.5. Quinn puts it an 8.6 in from the Red Bull driver.
Here comes your dad.
Lap.
This is a good one.
At 8.6 as well, it puts himself into P3. He will be pleased with that lap.
Let's keep an eye on Miles then. He's just starting his second run here this evening in the P3 tier. Season 27 finale. Can't believe how quickly the season's gone. Let's ride on board with Miles, because he's been looking quick here in Brazil. A track that he enjoys. Let's see what the Alpine driver can do.
Yeah, so this is my favourite section. Now, this very fast right-hander. We're coming into the tricky middle sector of the lap now. Very easy to lose traction on the rear. Miles looking quite planted at this stage. Does he find the apex? Yes, he does. Now we're going to nail the throttle now, all the way flat out through this left-hander. And now we're coming into the last proper corner. Good apex from Miles. Nail the throttle. We're not going to lift now for the rest of the lap. We're flat out. We're going to burn our battery as we head into the DRS zone. The rear wing opens. He hugs it to the inside for shortest distance, and it's an 8.639. Brilliant lap for Miles. Puts him in P3.
Here comes Vitinho. I think he's going to bail this lap. Yeah, he's coming into the biz. 1 tenth, less than a tenth, 3/4 of a tenth separate the top 4 drivers, Cole. What can Lawrence do? He's just starting his next lap. So the other McLaren driver, can he submit something similar to his teammate? Of course, Ferrari versus McLaren for the Constructors' battle on play here tonight. That looked tidy through turn 4.
Yeah, he's a tenth up, or just over a tenth up. He's got a Red Bull cleanly getting out of the way for the McLaren driver, as again we head into this tricky section. A little bit of a lockup from Lawrence, but I don't think it would have cost him too much, as he carries very, very good speed. And now we're into the end of the lap now. Can he keep it nice and steady? No, he doesn't, and he spins the car. So that is lap over for the McLaren driver, just getting a couple of wheels on that grass. And Nick, this is the danger of circuits like these old school tracks where you've got the grass. And, you know, if that was a Paul Ricard, for example, he would have just carried on as regardless. But unfortunately, that is lap over, and Lawrence will now head into the pit lane. And he's going to have to put on a fresh set of boots.
Doesn't look like anyone's improving. Gazza's in the wall at turn 1. So yellow flags as he spins back around. We were just chatting off air how tricky that turn 1 is. I think it's the camber as well, Cole, where Lawrence spun. The track is, the elevation changes here are ridiculous. Obviously, it's in a valley, isn't it? This circuit. So Gazza losing the rear and spinning at the moment. 1.5 cover the entire field. Less than a second cover the top 11. So Matthias expects to see him improve. No one, Rydog, I think, invalidated his lap. He's going for another one by the looks of it. Proverb doesn't improve, currently in 8th position. No, Rydog's stuck in 8th gear by the looks of it. No, he is come down, but he's not on a hot lap.
Yeah, Rydog now, he's going to be coming back into the pit lane. I'm wondering whether he made a mistake somewhere, or whether this is his hot lap. I'm not sure. Let me have a little look at his telemetry. He's got 100% battery, so I think this is just his preparation lap, I think. But he already has done one lap, so Rydog in 10th, not where he wants to be at this stage. He is going to be wanting to improve.
Mack is 4 tenths up at the moment. He runs right to the edge of the curb on that final corner, final proper corner, as he runs it to the line. 4 tenths up. What can he do? Can he get to the 108? 108.8 at the moment, so he jumps up into 6th position. 3 tenths cover the top 6. Joe is on another hot lap. Is he improving again? I think he is. It's an 8.1.
Wow, that's an absolute stunner from Joe. Absolutely brilliant lap from Joe, that, an 8.1. And that puts him half a second clear of the field. And on a circuit as short as this, that is astonishing.
JR Mason pops up with a 108.2.
Brilliant lap from Mason, that is. I got to be honest, I didn't see him. I know he has done a 0.2 in practice, but I didn't think he managed it today. But he will be doing cartwheels in his rig. He's going to be delighted with that.
Here comes Quinn. He is improving after 2 sectors. What can he do as he crosses the line? It's an 8.5, so he improves as well. Miles is on an out lap. Patino's in the pits. Mac is on an in lap. Nicholas is on a hot lap. No, he's invalidated, so he's going to have to back out. Lawrence is just about to begin his lap, and there is Mercedes of Ride Dog, who was just behind the McLaren driver, so a bit of slip. Looked like he was able to. Oh, is he just starting? No, he's not just starting his lap.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused why those two cars were so close together there. But Rydog appears to have backed off. Yeah, he's 1.4 seconds. Now, was he held up by Lawrence? I don't know. That's something we're going to have to find out. But Matthias is fast approaching this Mercedes as well. So hopefully the Mercedes will get out of the way for Matthias, which he does very well.
Yeah, Matthias needs to set a competitive lap time at the moment, using all of the curb on the inside there. Some drivers choose to avoid it, treat it like the tip of a triangle. Some drivers hug it all the way around. As you see the top 3 now in the pits, they'll have one final run at this. Miles, I believe, is on a lap, but let's turn board with Matthias, who's 4 tenths up at the moment. Joe was down in the first sector. He's gained 3 tenths back, so he's a tenth and a half up as he approaches the line. What can the McLaren driver do? It's a 108.6, so he improves.
and Matthias improves by half a second, but that only puts him 11th at this stage. Now, I don't think Matthias going to have time to come back in the pit lane and go back out again? I don't think he is, Nick. I think that could be the end of Matthias's qualifying.
Yeah, I think Miles as well. I think that's the end of his set. He just popped up into P2, just ahead of your dad at the moment. I don't think he's going to be able to get back to the pits, get a new set of boots on and head out. Be close if you can. I'll be impressed. What about Proverb? He's starting a lap.
Yeah, Proverb, I think, is starting his lap. Let's have a look. Oh, I don't know, he might be on his final lap. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's in the 12s now, so yeah, he's just about to... No, he's in the pit lane. It's the wall, actually, in the pit lane. Hopefully he hasn't done any side pod damage there. But Proverb in 6th, that is one of his best qualifying positions we've seen from Proverb for quite some time. Nice to see him back up there.
Yeah, it definitely is. Whether he'll get another run at it, I'm not sure. Lawrence is coming into the pits now. He's gone flat, so does he think he's going to get another run? Miles, I'm sure, won't be getting another run as he comes into the pit lane now. So I think Miles is definitely done. Outlap Joe is on his outlap, so is your dad. In fact, your dad's going to be starting his final flyer very shortly.
Yeah, so let's see what Mason can do then. With 1 minute and 50 left on the clock, has he got any time left in him? Can he improve on his 8.261 as he heads into the first corner? Such an important corner, gets nicely in the apex, nice again in turn 2, hugs turn 3 all the way around. There's a couple of cars ahead, there's a Ferrari ahead and an Aston Martin who both get out the way tremendously, I must say, as Mason... Oh, that looked very good. I think that's an invalidation.
It is.
It is. That is the end of Mason's qualifying.
I don't think so, Cole. I think he can back off this lap, recharge his ERS and go again. He's got enough time because you get plenty of fuel in the qualifying session. So the 2 cars pass him, but if he wants to, he can go again, Cole.
Yes, he could do, actually. That's a very good point. I'm wondering whether he is going to do that. He's got 1 minute left. Is he going to be coming straight in the pit lane? He should have enough fuel. Let's see what he decides to do. So who is now on a lap?
Gaza. Oh, and Gaza spun it. Turn 4. Too much curb.
Yeah, it's so easy to do that. I actually did that in the practice session earlier in qualifying and the race, to be honest. Yeah, very, very easy to do when you run wide there. Gaza not having the greatest qualifying session, unfortunately.
Yeah, 1.5 seconds off the pace at the back of the field. We'll come to gearbox and engine penalties after this qualifying session. But what about Joe? Is Joe improving? Let's keep an eye on that time as we head across through the Sector 2 split. Now, I think Joe has backed off and he's going to do another lap. No, he's not going to be able to. He's not going to have enough time. Hockey Knight's joined this session. He'll be able to take part in the race. So Joe's done. Miles didn't get enough time to get out. What about your dad? Your dad's a 10th up in Sector 1, Cole.
Wow. Don't forget, these are used tyres now. Now, is he going to struggle towards the end of this lap? Because these are not in the greatest of condition now.
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to struggle, Cole, because I did this in practice. He's close. Yeah, he nailed that final corner. Get on the power. Get that ERS all the way to the line, Cole, because what you lose in fuel, you haven't lost in tyre wear. So this is going to be for pole position. What can J.R. Mason do?
Oh, look at that. Puts himself on the front row. Just half a tenth off Joe's lap time, but that is a PB for Mason, actually. He has not done an 8.1, I don't think. What a lap from Mason. Pressure? What pressure?
Ride Dog comes into the pits to retire. He can't do anything, so you would have to say advantage J.R. Mason for the second and third, fourth battle in the Drivers' Championship. Advantage McLaren in their constructors battle with Ferrari. Lawrence there behind Vitinho, but Joe taking pole position here for the finale in P3.
What an exciting session that was, and how close those times were as well. as we'll run these through the grid now. So Joe gets a pole position, just half a tenth behind Mason, completes the front row. Quinn with a superb P3. Miles in fourth. Nicholas in fifth. Vitinho in sixth place. Lawrence, the other McLaren, in seventh. Proverb with a great eighth place in the Merc. Max in ninth. Rydog in 10th. Then we have Jack in 11th. Matthias in 12th. Shiesty in 13th. Gazaman 14th, Hockey Knife 15th, and poor old Jamie, who gets his DSQ, will start the race from 16th place.
I think Jamie will probably, once the grid's done in the new lobby, Jamie will start ahead of Hockey Knight, as Hockey Knight didn't take part in that session. However, Cole, do we have any engine or gearbox penalties happening here in the P3 tier tonight, which are going to affect the starting grid?
That's a very good question, actually. I will double check. Let me have a look. Sorry, that's one thing I forgot to look at.
That's all right. We'll just ignore everything you're going to see on screen, because as we always know, we like to do a new lobby, so all drivers get new set of tyres to choose from, and they can really go at it full bang for the race. And of course they can change their setup, just their fuel, obviously, all the jazz that the drivers will be doing. So just ignore what you're about to see on screen.
Yeah, so we do have some engine and gearbox penalties for this race now. So Shiesty is going to get a gearbox penalty. That means he's going to get 5 places further back on the grid. So he's going to be behind Jamie. So at the minute, Shiesty will be 16th place. Miles, who qualified in 4th place, is having an engine penalty. So he's going to be down in 14th place.
So as we wait to join back in the lobby, great pole position there from Joe. Gerald Mason just missing out on claiming pole position, but we'll start alongside. And strategy here is, I think we got a red flag, which is why it restarted. But hopefully Lawrence will retire nice and quick. Yep, and then we can get back to the lobby. But strategy here, Cole. Let's talk strategy. Soft, medium, hard, obviously. What do you expect to see?
Oh, it's gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised to see the soft tyre make an appearance. It doesn't really make much of an appearance in races on this game. But tyre wear on this track doesn't seem to be too bad on this particular circuit. I wouldn't be surprised to see actually drivers use all 3 compounds potentially, Nick.
Yeah, obviously the soft tyre will give you that extra grip. For what I found, Cole, it's one of those tracks that where although the tyres don't wear that much in terms of your lap time, they do start to decrease, particularly on the soft. But you can't always feel it. So it's interesting that some tracks you really feel it, whereas other tracks you don't, and it just kind of shows within the lap time. But yeah, let's ready up past all this jazz.
Just looking at the chat, and Quinn went 4 tenths quicker than his PB. What an awesome job for Quinn to put himself on the second row. I think it's second row. Yeah, brilliant lap from Quinn there. Really, I'm hoping that Quinn manages to get a good result tonight. The season hasn't gone his way. Been unfortunate in a few situations as well. Quinn saying it was all in Sector 2. So Quinn has found something in Sector 2.
Well, obviously drivers will get to choose and change their setups as Jamie sets the grid. It's such a tight and twisty Sector 2 call that you want downforce. You want the car mechanically, you need a lot of grip. But then you come up that hill, the final braking zone, and it's just flat all the way. And then, of course, you've got the run down to turn 4, so you need straight line speed as well.
Yeah, exactly that. You need a good balance. You can't afford to have full, massive wings on. Otherwise, you're going to be a sitting duck down the straight. But you can't afford to have too low wings. Otherwise, you're going to lose so much time, especially in Sector 2. you're going to really, really struggle. So it's a balancing act again for these drivers to get their setup exactly how they want them.
So throughout the race, Colin has live standings that he'll be able to, if I want to ask him where we're at, so we can let all of you guys know, he'll be able to plug it into the spreadsheet quick and do the maths. And we haven't mentioned, but obviously Mercedes' Cole is only 11 points off the constructors' battle as well. So it's not just between Ferrari and McLaren. Mercedes can definitely play a part, and if Rydog and Proverb can have a good result between them, you never know what they're able to come up with. The last 2 rounds, they've scored 21 points in both of them. So let's see what happens. Safety cars, Cole. You mentioned an old school circuit, obviously grass surrounding the track, a tricky pit exit. Do you think we could potentially see some safety cars tonight?
We could well do. I think we have done, in the past when we've raced around here, there has been quite a few safety cars, to be honest. And usually lap 1, because that turns 1 and 2 it kind of invites incidents. Let's hope that the drivers are a little bit sensible going into turn 1 and turns 1 and 2. There's a couple of drivers, Nick, I would consider out of position, really. Rydog being one of them. So Rydog's going to have a lot of work to do.
He definitely will. And welcome to Jay in the chat, Jay Matthews. Good question about engines and gearbox in league racing. So here at One Hub, all drivers have to take a new engine and a new gearbox throughout the season. When they take a new engine, they'll get a 10-place grid penalty. When they take a new gearbox, they'll get a 5-place grid penalty. So they only last for a certain amount of laps, and drivers get an image posted each week which shows them how many laps left they have in those components. And of course, Cole, if they run out, they'll DNF. We'll put it as DNF on the results. They've obviously got to tactfully choose when they want to take it. Do they take it when a track that will get lots of safety cars? Do they take it at a track that's good for overtaking? All these sorts of variables, which is why we love the CarAware system here at One Hub.
Yeah, brilliant system. And another thing to add as well is you cannot take them at the same time. So you need to take your gearbox and engine at 2 separate races as well. So that's another element of strategy for the drivers. There's Rydog. No heroics into turn 1, please. Yeah, that's... I think Rydog's going to be hoping for a sensible turn 1. And I know we're all trying to do our best, but please be wary, drivers who are listed, of, there are drivers going for championships. This goes across all 3 tiers. Just be a bit mindful of those drivers. You don't want to be the driver costing another driver a championship.
Yeah, I put a message earlier because, you just give those drivers who are just a little bit of extra. I'm not saying don't race them, of course, but just a little bit extra. Your mistake could potentially cost someone a season's worth, 3-4 months worth of practice and sweat and tears. So obviously it is part of racing if it does happen, but where possible, we want to try and let the championships and the second and third position and all that jazz be decided on track, Cole, rather than in the steward's office.
Exactly that. And confirmation from Jamie, he did make an error in the pit lane on the pit exit, and the game then disqualified him for blocking the pit lane exit. So something to be careful of and to be wary of in the race, Nick, because you do it in the race and that could be your championship done and dusted. So drivers are going to have to be extra careful exiting the pit lane and entering it, because it's another track where you're approaching it at such high speed, you can easily get a pit lane speeding penalty.
Yeah, you definitely can, and the track's not flat either as you enter the pit lane, so it dips slightly. So something else for drivers to think about, but the safety car at the end of the pit lane, ready, locked and loaded. Vitinho, you can see his tyres sitting in the garage, so currently it's showing he's going to start on soft tyres. Sorry to give that away, but a little feature that we always like to pull out. Of course, Colt, mandatory 2-stop here in One Hub. Fastest lap points inside and outside of the top 10. We know what the weather's going to be like after the league adaptive weather system announced earlier today in the talk show plenty to play for here in One Hub, Cole. 16 drivers in the P3 tier to finish us off.
Yeah, it's been 12 race long season, but it has gone so quick. We've had some unbelievable finishes. Last week, the race finishing by just half a tenth. In Baku, it was just 1/10. Are we going to have a similar close finish tonight? That we'll have to wait and see, as the drivers now are loading their setups, setting their strategies, and getting their fuel right.
Yep, obviously fuel you can adjust. Do you choose to start the race with a little bit more anticipation where you don't have to worry, don't have to do any fuel saving, or will you under fuel and then potentially do some lifting, coasting? We can see that Fatino is still showing us on soft tyre compound, so how many drivers will choose to start on that compound, we will have to wait and see. Otherwise, 36 laps here in Brazil, so quite a long amount of laps, but obviously such a short track that it's we'll be looking at doing 1 minute 12s, 1 minute 13s, 1 minute 14s, that sort of those sort of lap times here in the race. But Cole, I can't believe for the final time this season, the 5 red lights are about to go out for the finale. Plenty to play for here in the P3 tier. And away we go. Looks like J.R. Mason has got a good start and is potentially up alongside Joe already. Goes slightly deep. No, and Joe keeps the position. J.R. Mason drops back. Now it looks like he's under attack from Quinn rather than attacking. Otherwise, looked like a pretty clean start there.
Yeah, what a brilliant start from Mason. He really was attacked. We got a driver off in the background. He's just, I think it was Hockey Nye. I think he's avoided. Unfortunately, he has got damage. And we got Whopping Proverb round the back as well, down in 16th. But what a start. Perfect start for Mason.
Yeah, Miles has had a bad start. He's down in 12th position. Looks like Vitinho is up in 4th. Lawrence has followed him through. So Nicholas has fallen down as he made a mistake there that I've just missed off stream. I'm just going to get, as he tries to go down the inside of the Sauber, just keeps out from making contact and has a moment. And looks like Gaz is going to try and get past. Is the Alpine going to be able to make it through on the inside as well? Yes, he is. So what a nightmare middle sector for Nicholas, but he does gain that position back on Miles. Let's get the details up. We can see the position change. Nicholas and Proverb, your biggest losers out. Otherwise, no one's really gained too much.
No, they're still very close. But I'm looking at the tyres, Nick. Oh, as we got a fight between Matthias and Jack. Oh, there's a bit of rubbing. Oh, as Jack had squeezed a little bit on the curb, but just about makes it. But he's got DRS, Nick. Can he have a go into this left-hander? No, he's not quite close enough.
Plenty of action here, as you mentioned. 2 drivers on the hard compound of tyres. That is Jack and Jamie. Otherwise, it's a proper mixture between the soft and the mediums.
Yeah, I've never seen a grid so mixed up with strategies. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers on the soft tyres. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drivers on the mediums, and 2 electing, Nick, to start on the hard compound tyre.
Oh, there's a driver off. That's Hockey. Hockey Knight made a mistake on the exit where Lawrence spun in, qualifying. Such a tricky traction zone, especially when you've got a car full of fuel. But he continues on after missing qualifying, currently in 14th place. Shiesty has come into the pits, by the way, so that's why he's down the back. Fastest lap being traded, and J.R. Mason falls down to 3rd position. Quinn gets up into 2nd place.
Yeah, Quinn having an absolute stormer of a race. And he is fast approaching the McLaren on these faster, softer compounder tyres. And you got to say, Quinn at the minute, he has got the bit between his teeth. And he is fast approaching the back of that McLaren.
Fair play to Gaza and Jack there. They went side by side through turn 4. Gaza left him room on the outside. Is Jack going to try and go? Oh, thinks better of it. You got the other Aston Martin waiting in the wings. Miles obviously showed that great place in qualifying, but down in 12th place. Obviously, points awarded for the top 12 in One Hub, as well as your fastest lap points. Trying to go down the inside is Miles. I don't really think the gap was there, to be honest. Manages to recover. Jamie going to look to take advantage.
Yeah, I'm just looking now, and Matthias has front wing end plate damage. That is the last thing that he needs at this stage when he's fighting for the top three. It's not hurting him too much at the minute. He is sticking with Max up ahead, but he is not going to have the level of downforce that he really wants.
So Jack losing 2 positions there, one on his teammate, which he didn't fight too hard, and then the next one on Miles. But is Jack going to be able to get that position back with DRS as we run down to turn 4? Keep an eye on the lead, because that's just between 1/10 of a second between Quinn and Joe.
It's so close. Quinn really is the driver on form at this moment in time. Lawrence now is brought himself right up to the back of Mason in 3rd place. Can he have a run down to turn 1? But don't forget, Mason's going to have DRS as well, so it's going to be quite difficult for Lawrence as Vitinho has dropped back a bit. I don't know whether he's had a mistake in the Ferrari, but there's a 2.6 second gap between Vitinho in 5th and Lawrence in 4th.
And that wing damage isn't hurting Matthias, because he's all over the back of Rydog, who I think's been passed by Max. So Rydog here looks like he's going to lose another position. Side by side as they enter turn 1, you got Mac in front. A lock up from Rydog, manages to make the apex and heads through into turn 2. Vitinho is just ahead of these drivers, as well as Joe did lose the lead on that lap, and Lawrence gets ahead of JR Mason into turn 4.
Yeah, you feel Mason, I noticed, didn't defend that. I think he's thinking of the championship here, Nick, and he's just saying, you guys, you go ahead. I'm quite happy here. I'm ahead of my championship rivals, and that's all that's going to matter to me at this stage. But look at the gap. Vitinho is really struggling. He is holding up Max, Rydog and Matthias. This is going to be a 4-way fight now, Nick.
Yeah, obviously the lead car won't have the DRS unless they're within a 1 second of the car in front. But Rydog all over the back of Mac at the moment. And you can see the Aston's just about to catch up with this train as well, bringing Gaza, Jack with him. Jamie's not too far behind. Quinn, by the way, got the gap up to a second as Matthias was on the grass on the exit there. Lawrence, by the way, who didn't seem to have an answer to Joe in the qualifying session, just passes his teammate. So does Joe have a problem?
He could well do. Is he struggling with this setup at this moment in time? But I'm wondering whether there's a little bit of teamwork between these McLaren drivers, because they know they're fighting for the constructors. The last thing they want is contact between the two drivers. I know they're good friends as well, so I suspect that they are in contact with each other. But Vitinho doing well to keep the chasing pack behind. Oh, as we got Max and Rydog side by side, and Rydog goes around the outside of Max. What a move that is.
Rydog seems to have much more grip in this middle sector as Matthias slings it down the inside and forces that one on Mac, to be honest. Rydog seemed to have much more grip in the middle sector, and fair play, he sent it at the top of the hill there into the right-hander, late on the brakes, and fair play to Mac, who gave him room, and Matthias following through a couple corners later.
Yes, the problem Matthias has now, though, is that he hit the back of the Mercedes and he has lost pretty much the entire left-hand side of his front wing. So he's going to have chronic understeer now, and he's going to be really struggling.
Lawrence looking to make a pass for the lead of the race. He looks to the inside. Looks like Quinn is really going to play a part in this constructors battle here tonight. Are the McLarens going to happy to be sitting in second and third just to win the constructors, or are they going to want to win this race?
Well, they're probably going to, I would say they're going to go, well, can we have both? Yeah, I think they, as Miles gets 3 seconds, but this appears to be now, Nick, the stage at where these soft tyres are not as good as the medium tyres. So this could be the point. You know, the next couple of laps, I expect to see these soft runners coming into the pit lane.
I'm loving these moves in the middle sector. Gaza goes down the inside and then makes slight contact with Mac. Mac recovers. Gaza actually had one wheel on the grass when he made that move. So Joe's into the pits as Lawrence is going to come for a move on Quinn. No thinks better of it.
Well, that is incredibly early pit stop from Joe on these medium tyres. Only 6 laps as he goes on to the hard compounder tyres as Jack gets a penalty. And Matthias is now in the pit lane, and he's going to be changing his front wing.
Oh, there was a move there, ultimate change for the lead of the race, and Quinn's lost out. He was on the outside. Quinn clipped it on the inside, and Lawrence had a bit of oversteer moment on the exit, and you can see he's gaining on those soft compounds of Quinn, who's just trying to hang on to the lead at the moment. But yeah, Cole, wow, that was proper on the limit, such early on in the race. Quinn's racing like he's got nothing to lose. Jamie's done well up into 8th position this battle here. DRS train currently behind Gaza.
Yeah, this is you can tell that this driver's racing for pride as well as championships, but Quinn out in the lead at the minute on his 7-lap old tyres, and he's in the pit lane. Nick peels off into the pit lane. Does he get it slowed down in time? No, he doesn't, Nick. He gets a 10-second time penalty. He'll be absolutely furious with himself.
How many times have we said this before? Without being too harsh on him with Quinn, he's just got to cut out these mistakes, because you just don't gain enough for what they're worth, for what you're willing to lose.
Exactly that, and it's so frustrating. I know that Quinn will be so angry with himself, but it's not going to help the situation now. Always err on the side of caution when you're coming in the pit, and he didn't really need to do that. He was going to get a nice undercut as well, but of course he will have to serve that in his next pit stop.
He has come out just ahead of Joe. Both drivers choosing to use the hard compounder tyre after their stop. Matthias has accidentally selected the intermediate tyres. Oh, no, it's gone to hards.
Yeah, he was on intermediates. He's come back in the pit lane and had to go on hard compounder tyres. And he's hit the wall! And he's damaged his wing again. Oh, such frustration for Matthias. This is a long, long way to go yet, Nick, but he's going to need an absolute miracle now if he wants to get back into the top 3.
Yeah, he's going to need a safety car. At the moment, it looks like J.R. Mason and Ride Dog are in those positions to take 2nd and 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. Ride Dog just behind Vitinho at the moment, who's now the leader of this race. Everyone moving up. The top 4 haven't stopped. And you've got Miles down there coming into the pits. Quite a few drivers pitting on lap 9.
Yeah, so we got quite another... yet again, Nick, we have a huge disparity of strategies, which I love to see. It's so exciting to see. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers on hards, the remaining drivers on medium tyres. So what did Mason go on? So Mason went on medium tyres. Lawrence up ahead elected to go for the hard compounder tyres.
It's mental. At the moment, you can see the penalties on the screen, just showing you those there for you. Back to the tyres, and Ride Dog looks like he's going to take the lead of this race on lap 10 on the Ferrari driver. So had to make his way through. Oh, they're both coming into the pits now. This is early for a medium runner, I feel.
Vitinho gets a 10-second time penalty. I thought Ride Dog was. He almost spun in the pit lane, Nick, under braking. But yeah, this is very, very early. He's going to go on the hard compounder tyres, so he's not confident of that. As Vitinho appears behind. So yeah, actually, Ride Dog managed to jump the Ferrari in the pit lane as well.
Jamie and Jack changing positions. Now the 2 drivers who have yet to come into the pits alongside Hockey Night and Proverb. So these 2 drivers currently leading the way on hard compounded tyres, changing positions. If they keep doing that every lap without slowing each other down, that's actually going to gain them lap time. So clever thinking. Quinn is your net race leader with Joe behind. Lawrence a couple seconds further back. JR Mason now in 6th position, and you've got Hockey Night there completely without a front wing. So he'll have to come into the pits this lap.
And look at Matthias, you feel as though he's quite angry in the car. He just set the fastest lap on hard compound tyres with a damaged front wing. So he really is, all credit to Matthias. He ain't giving up. The guy doesn't know the meaning of the phrase. He really tries hard every single Grand Prix, never gives up. He's without doubt still having his greatest ever one-hub season, and all credit to him for keep pushing, and he is catching up to 15th place.
I tell you what, Vitinho got back past Rydog on that lap as they both negotiated the slow car of Hockey Night. Jamie and Jack going side by side through turn 4 again. Jack's got the inside now. Jamie's got the inside for the next corner. Oh, someone's going to have to back out here, boys. Jamie thinks better of it.
Yeah, Jamie showed his experience there. He's got Quinn right behind him as well. Now, is Jamie here playing the team game, Nick? He's on hard compound tyres and he's holding the drivers up. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Jamie and Dad get on like an absolute house on fire. They are very, very good mates. And I wouldn't be half surprised if this is a team tactic from the Williams driver. And of course, it's perfectly legal. They're not doing anything wrong. It's just a very clever strategy from the Williams driver.
Lawrence has closed up properly at the moment. Quinn's trying to get the pass done already. Jamie, of course, does have that DRS option as well. Looks like one McLaren is going to get past. Jamie braking on the outside. Is he going to keep it on the inside turn 2? Nope, it looks like he's going to get passed by the other McLaren as well. Jared Mason seems to have lost out a little bit in that pit stop phase there. Colt, not sure why, but now this is for the race lead between Quinn and Jack Craig. If a safety car came out now, these boys would be loving it, Jack and Jamie.
Oh, they'd be delighted at this stage. Yeah, Mason's dropped off a little bit. He was probably, I suspect, very cautious coming in and exiting the pit lane. Because he knows how treacherous that is. And he doesn't need any heroics. He just needs to finish close to Rydog and ahead of Matthias, and he will achieve P2 in the standings. At this moment in time, Nick, he will achieve that. He will get P2 in the standings, Nick, but we've still got 23.
Oh, there's an incident. The McLaren's off. Jack Craig and Lawrence, Jack Craig and Joe. And something's happened further on. There's been contact. Someone's gone and hit someone because I saw carbon fiber fly off there. So Jack's going to come into the pits. I don't think he's got damage, actually. That's going to be, 10-second penalty. I thought as much as he comes into the pit lane. That happened so fast. I only just caught out the corner of my eye. So Matt is trying to go for a move on Miles. Not happening at the moment. That really helped Quinn. The 2-second lead he's got now at the moment.
Yeah, and that's what he needs, because he's got that 10-second time penalty. So Quinn, if you're listening, pedal to the metal, mate. Now you've got to nail it. You've got to just banzai attack this track now and see if you can pull out a decent gap and try and undo some of that 10-second time penalty that he's going to get.
So Jamie back in front of Joe. J.R. Mason just in the background there, so that'll be good for his hopes. Obviously, Rydog, Gaza are up there in the top 8. Matthias down in 13th place. So maybe a little bit later on we will bring you the live standings as we're seeing the McLaren go past Jamie now. Back up into 3rd position. Lawrence has got that gap down a little bit to Quinn on this latest lap. And as you mentioned, Quinn has that penalty. So will we see a safety car? Not many DRS trains, surprisingly, at the moment. Rydog still trying to get back past Vitinho.
Yeah, these two have had a ding-dong battle all race. This is another instance, Nick. This reminds me of last week, where Rydog has the cornering speed, but he does not have the straight line speed to really have a go. We saw it against, was it Lawrence last week? I think it was Lawrence, wasn't it?
Yeah, in Mexico.
And it's almost the same thing happening here. He just can't get quite close enough to have a go. So he's probably going to save his battery now and dump it all down the straight.
Yeah, we have seen a few moves in the middle sector. Rydog pursuing one of them, which is great to see because you don't often see that around here with obviously such the two long straights. But surprising, I'm surprised by the lack of DRS trains in this second stint of the race. Looks like Rydog's got a good run. He should get this sixth position off of Vitinho now.
Yeah, as Jamie moves out of the way for his teammate. He's jumping around a bit, poor old Jamie. He's got possibly got a few internet things. But he lets his teammate through. Mason now up into fourth place. And Rydog is ahead of Vitinho, Nick. He did get the manoeuvre done.
Yeah, that's done into turn one. And Vitinho doesn't have an answer. 5-lap-old softs, they will start to wear off from about 5-6 laps. So that move's done. Rydog can squander along. Cole, maybe now's a good time to plug in the positions of the where the drivers are fighting for second and third place in the championship, and you can let us know who's on what points as things stand.
Do that right now.
We won't include fastest lap for now because obviously that can change. Lawrence is closing that gap to Quinn at the moment. Jamie's still doing a good job, 15 laps on those hard compound of tyres. Nicholas is now on the back of Gaza. Let's jump on board with that one. And looks like he got a great run out of that final corner. Final proper corner, as I like to refer it. Is he going to be able to do anything into turn one? Sometimes it's nice that drivers just set the move up into turn one. Vitinho's coming to the pits and did that. So why?
That's very, very peculiar. Vitinho out of the race. Is that going to be a safety car? I don't think it will. No, the drivers are flat out. So, but I have the current standings, Nick. So at this moment in time, in second place would be Mason on 87 points. Matthias will be third with 87 points. And Rydog will be fifth with 86 points. Also fourth with 86 points. Gaza will have 73 points. So it's Matthias still at this stage is in contention for top three, so it's not over by a long shot for him.
Are you sure that's right, Cole? Only because Gerald Mason's only one behind Matthias at the moment.
We'll check that.
And
so Matthias actually is on 88 points now because he's just moved up. So Mason on 98, Matthias on 88, Berjac's 87 and Rydog 86. That's our current standings, with Rydog, who's now moved up to 5th place, so that'll be 10 points for Rydog. And they're now tied on points, Nick. So at this point in this race, Matthias and Rydog have both got 88 points, but Rydog has the race wins, so he's going to be ahead on countback at this stage.
That's exciting. It's always great when it goes to a countback. Gaza on the back of Nicholas, just showing some good pace here in this middle stint. Miles is surprising, but I thought the pace that he showed in qualifying is shows he gets himself a penalty towards the back of the field. Wonder why Vitinho retired. McLaren are looking very strong for the constructors battle at the moment as well. So that'll be interesting to see whether Mercedes can do anything about that. I don't think they're going to be able to. Looks pretty set in stone for McLaren, but anything can happen, Cole. Still 17 laps left to go in this race. Quinn is leading away, but he does have that 10-second penalty. Jamie finally comes in to complete his first pit stop.
Yes, and one thing you've got to give a lot of credit to Quinn. Look at the gap to Joe. So at this moment in time, he's just got enough to jump ahead of Mason in the pit stops and keep his podium spot. So he is driving incredibly well, I must say.
Well, 15 drivers left here for the P3 tier. Of course, you've got the P2 tier live at 6 o'clock with J. Cole and Jamie doing commentary there. And then you've got the P1 tier, which will be racing in Cole live at 7:30. So looking forward to that tonight. Lawrence has got within DRS now of Quinn, so that extra lap advantage that Quinn had for the undercut is evaporated a little bit. I do feel Quinn's got some good straight line speed here, though, so whether he'll be able to hold on, we'll have to wait and see. Gazza is just hanging on to the back of Nicholas at the moment. 8-second gap they have to Ride Dog, though. Hockey Night is on the back of Proverb, so will we see a little battle down here, the 13th and 14th place? Jamie's within DRS of Matthias.
Yeah, Jamie is having a brilliant race. He is kind of deliberately offset his strategy to help his teammate out, and he's still now only, less than a second off the top 10. So Jamie's showing that he's got some great pace around this track, and Matthias on 11 lap old mediums, you feel he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck to Jamie here.
Yeah, a lot of drivers choosing to use the hards in this middle stint. Some drivers choosing to the mediums. Jamie's going to go down the inside. A little bit of contact between the two drivers there, keeping it steady at the moment. Wow. And Matthias tucks in behind him. What a move that was from Jamie. Took some bottles, that one.
Fair play, Jamie. I mean, this is what I admire about Jamie. You would not have seen Jamie do a manoeuvre like that 2 or 3 seasons ago. He would have waited a little bit longer, been a little bit more cautious. But what a manoeuvre that is from Jamie. And great driving again from Matthias to see him come in and give him the room. Superb driving from the pair of them, I've got to say.
Gazza's got back ahead of Nicholas. They've lost a second and a bit on the gap they had between themselves and Ride Dog. So not sure what's happened there. Ride Dog is closing in slowly on JR Mason. We got yellow flags. That is Jack Craig, who is around at the final corner. Is trying to get back going again in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, he just about manages to keep the car on track. Is he going to peel off into the pit lane? No, he carries on. So he's managed to avoid damage, which is good for the Aston Martin driver. So let's have a look at the penalty situation, Nick. I'll shout that out. So we know Quinn's got 10 seconds. Rydog has 3 seconds. So does Miles. Matthias has 3 seconds. Hockey Nye has 3 seconds. Jack has 13 seconds of penalties after he's sped in the pit lane. And Shiesty also has 3 seconds.
Alrighty, are we going to see a change of the lead of the race? Quinn was about to go defensive. Lawrence thought about it. Hockey Night gives himself a 3-second time penalty. Joe comes into the pits, so he's now going on what's probably going to be a medium to take him to the end of the race.
Yeah, I expect. Oh no, Nick, he's gone for double hard. So we were really not very confident with the tyre wear on this circuit, and he is going to go out on another brand new set of hard compound tyres.
So he'll fall down the order. He's come out in 9th position at the moment. Where's Jamie in comparison? I think he might just get ahead of Jamie. Yes, he does. So in 9th position, but he's going to have to overtake some cars if he wants to move back through the field. Ride Dog just hovering on the 1 second behind your dad in 3rd position at the moment. But are we going to see a change of the lead here? Lap 22 of 36, or are these drivers going to come into the pit lane?
Let's see. No, they drive straight past the pit lane. Lawrence right in his DRS, but he's not close enough to have a go. Will he be able to stick with him now in turns 1 and 2 and get the DRS? As Quinn runs wide. And Lawrence tries to take advantage, doesn't quite make it, as Quinn goes very defensive into turn 1.
That move almost saved him as Jerry Mason Gazza come into the pit, saved that position for him. The way it worked out, I don't think there was anything intentional with the contact there, but drivers coming into the pit lane now. Joe moves up a couple places, still behind Mac on his latest lap. So we've got J.R. Mason exiting the pit lane. You've got Gazza coming towards the exit now as well. Proverb is going to be coming through turn 1 and 2, but let's jump back on board with the battle between the top two, because Quinn and Lawrence are about to go at it again.
Yes, so I think Quinn's gonna, and to be honest, I think if I was Quinn, I would have probably let Lawrence go at this stage, because all he's doing is losing time he cannot afford to lose. But look at the gap he's pulled out now, Nick. He's got himself, he's still within a second, but Lawrence is nowhere near enough to have a go.
Joe is struggling to get past Mac in this middle sector. I think there's some lag on Mac's car there, and then you got Miles just ahead as well. And Joe goes off onto the grass there, so Joe's struggling to get these hard tyres up to temperature. You did mention that in qualifying, and Lawrence still behind Quinn as Nicholas comes into the pits for his second stop.
And Jamie again helping his team out, giving him a DRS boost, letting him go down the straight. And you got to say, Mason, he owes quite a lot to Jamie for this race. Jamie really has really done his part to help Mason out. And as Matthias, look, it's such a shame for Matthias. Look at the pace that Matthias has got round here. Don't forget, he's got a damaged front wing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's come into the pits since he had that incident, Cole. He's showing 2 laps fresh mediums as Quinn dives into the pit lane, and Lawrence carries on to take the lead of the race. What's Ride Dog going to be able to do to respond? He's got a ghost car in front of him at the moment. Miles is coming up to end his latest lap. So Quinn in the pits, obviously he's serving that 10-second penalty. How far is that going to drop him down the order?
Yeah, let's see. So what tyres has he chosen? I think they're the medium tyres. Yes, they are. Now, where's he going to come out? I just saw Joe go down the main straight. He's negotiating turns 1 and 2, so he's going to be ahead of Quinn. Is Mason going to come out ahead or behind? Oh, this is going to be very, very close, Nick. Mason just, and I mean just, ahead of Quinn. After Quinn serves his time penalty, and Matthias does another fastest lap of the race. I know he's on fresh medium tyres, Nick, but that is brilliant pace from Matthias.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not been able to use it in this race, to take him to a good result. So Joe looks like he's in the net lead at the moment. JR Mason just behind him on those medium compound tyres. Quinn now also on those mediums. So Jamie obviously still got another stop to do. So as you said, really has compromised his strategy here to try and help his teammate. But, that's what teammates are for.
Sorry, Nick. Rydog is in the pit lane. He's had enough of these hard compound tyres. I suspect he's going to go on mediums. Let's have a look. Yes, he is. So Rydog is going to put on a medium set of compound tyres. Out he goes again. As Quinn is in the inside of Mason. Ooh. Wasn't particularly
friendly.
No, I don't think Mason would be overly delighted with that manoeuvre, I gotta say. But Quinn is through.
So that's Quinn back up to third position. He's hooking, I guess, a penalty. He's not actually that far from Joe, considering he had to serve a 10-place grid penalty. So Joe's early stop hasn't really helped him in terms of the undercut. And if Lawrence isn't careful and doesn't respond to Quinn, he could be finding himself battling with Quinn, even though the Red Bull driver had that 10-second penalty.
Yeah, exactly that. And I'm going to say it again. Jamie, he is now decided, I'm going to help Mason out again, and I'm going to do my best to hold up Rydog. He really is determined to get his friend and teammate a trophy this season. You feel as though this is Jamie's purpose from the second this race started, and Rydog right behind Jamie, but I don't think anyone's going to stop him, Nick. Is he going to get it through? No, yet again, Rydog struggling for straight line speed, does not get the manoeuvre done on Jamie.
Yeah, he'll have to wait another lap. The gap's coming down between the top two, so Lawrence must be trying to go for softs at the end of the race. But the worry is he could get undercut by his teammate and Quinn. Obviously, the McLaren drivers, they probably don't care who wins this race as long as they walk away with the constructors. 1 and 2 at the moment. Rydog all over the back of Jamie. Needs to get past so he can try and attack. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2. Not sure...
Jack has spun in the middle of Sector 2 on his hard compounder tyres. He's now lapped by Lawrence, I think that is. No, he's lapped by Joe. So
no front wing as well.
Yeah, so he'll be in the pit lane at the end of this lap. Lawrence gets 3 seconds. That could be absolutely crucial to this race. And who's going to win it, Nick?
Yeah, that would have been through in turn 2, and he's continued on again. 18 laps now on those hard compounded tyres. Rydog has dispatched Jamie, who comes into the pits. Jack Red retires from the session in the pit lane. So lap 28 of 36 at the moment. Let's just show you. Everyone has now stopped twice as Jamie's completing it. Proverb, has got to stop for the second time. He moves up the order at the moment. Yellow flags in sector 1, and who's this? Shiesty is letting go a McLaren driver who's just gone on the grass, so that's Lawrence. Yeah. I think he's going to come out behind Quinn here, Cole.
I think he is. He's leaving it very, very late, is Lawrence. My only theory is that he's stretching these hards out to go on soft compounder tyres at the end of this race. That's the only thing I can think of, really, as to why he's going to be... as Shiesty, just a reminder to Shiesty, blue flags, make sure you do not interfere with the cars trying to lap you.
Bit of a moment there between Nicholas and Miles. In the right-hander slow speed corner, we got yellow flags in sector 2. They've now disappeared. Miles trying to go down the inside, wasn't able to get it down. A little bit of contact. That gap between the top two is now under 20 seconds. The gap between Quinn and Joe is in DRS, but here comes Miles on Nicholas. Is he going to make the move into turn 1? Nicholas doesn't fight it too hard. Miles gets the job done. I wonder if Nicholas is thinking, I'll have that back into turn 4.
Yeah, that's good awareness by Nick. Didn't fight it too hard. We got a yellow flag in sector 1. It is Max. Max is round. I could also see carbon fibre. Now, is that all as Shiesty gets a 10-second time penalty for hitting Lawrence? I don't know what happened there. Are we under safety car, Nick? No, I don't think we are. Yes, we are. It's a full safety car. It's a full safety car. This has thrown this race wide open.
So what has caused that? Was it the turn 1 carbon fibre on the track? Lawrence says this has absolutely gifted him the race win, because he's going to be able to come out from this pit stop in first place with a new set of soft compounder tyres. What is Joe going to do? Joe's coming into the pits. Quinn's following him in. J.R. Mason, not what he wanted. He was in the driving seat in terms of those championship positions. He's going to stay out, which means he will pass Joe and Quinn. Rydog comes into the pit lane as well.
I think that's a mistake from Mason there. Is it or not? I don't know. But he's going to have soft compound runners all over him. This could be a decision that knocks Mason off the podium and off the top 3 in the championship. I think this is an error by Mason here, Nick.
Yeah, I think potentially is, because other than Miles, when you look down the order, everyone is on. I tell you, that's helped Jamie. He's only on 2 lap-old softs, so that's played well for him. It's helped Matthias, who will be in the top 10 and on the back of the field if he can show with that great pace what he's able to do. So yeah, this is really thrown everything wide open, Cole. This is exciting. Final safety car to finish off season 27 in Brazil. A little bit of rain perhaps in the distance, Cole. We said that it can rain when it's on overcast, and it's looking almighty cloudy up in the sky.
It's gone very, very dark. Very dark indeed. And of course this safety car is going to stretch this overcast weather as well. So it's going to be very, very difficult for these drivers now, because this drop in temperature, Nick, is going to find it so difficult to keep temperature in those tyres. Mason's going to be really struggling on those 8-lap-old medium tyres.
He is, only himself, Miles and Shiesty on the mediums. Everyone else going for a set of soft compounded tyres to finish this race, to finish this season. And this safety car is going to be out for, if not this lap, one more lap as well. And Shiesty is unlapping himself, or was trying to.
He's not allowed to overtake under the safety car, and he's got a 10-second time penalty for the privilege, and it's screwed up things a bit there. Shiesty clearly didn't read the driver's briefing, where the drivers were instructed not to overtake under the safety car.
Even if you're a lapped car, the game doesn't allow it.
Yeah, exactly that. The stewards are a bit blue in the face for telling drivers this, because it can destroy the race of other drivers, because it can give other drivers penalties. Now, Shiesty has, I think, managed to unlap himself. Yes, he has. And
now he's slowed.
Now he's slowing down because he's not allowed to overtake the safety car. Yeah, Shiesty is
causing a mess here. He needs to just stick where he is. The game doesn't allow it, unfortunately. So, as he comes into the pits, perhaps he's going to retire. But we've got to wait for those two Haas drivers to catch up the back of the field before we get underway. So I imagine this lap, so we're going to have 33, 34, 34 laps of racing, I imagine, to decide the championship positions for second, third and fourth, to decide the constructors, although that's pretty much guaranteed to go McLaren's way unless they somehow implode. But let's wait and see what happens. What can Matthias do from 10th position? Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on J.R. Mason. He's going to have to defend for his life.
Yeah, he needs an absolute defensive masterclass at this stage. He's going to have as Quinn in the background almost loses it under the safety car. He's got fast approaching cars. The only saving grace for Mason at this stage is that Rydog and Matthias do have 3-second time penalties. That is the only thing at this stage saving Mason. What Mason cannot afford is a time penalty. Now, one thing I will do, actually, while I'm here, I will have a look to see how many warnings Mason has got.
Well, let's keep an eye and see whether it says safety car coming in this lap. Yes, it is. It's up on the screen. So, race director has called the safety car, and look at the cars getting close there. Quinn almost on the inside. I imagine Lawrence is going to leave this really late to go. There's no point in giving everyone else slipstream all the way down to the first corner. Incredibly slow, but of course you will catch the safety car up if you go too quickly. You can see the field all there in one shot. This is to end season 27 in the P3 tier. Lawrence warming his tyres up, and he has gone.
He's gone. He's had a good restart. Mason done quite well there, but he's got Joe right behind him. Is Joe can have a look into turn one? Yeah, he's not quite far enough. Quite aggressively, Mason says, no thank you. You are not coming through at this stage.
Yeah, this has really helped Lawrence, who's got a 1 second lead already. Can J.R. Mason, no DRS of course, can he defend? Joe's coming down the inside into turn 4. Gives him the space, and Quinn squeezes through as well. So J.R. Mason down into 4th position, but he's under attack now from another 2 cars.
Yeah, I was on board, and Quinn just decided to be honest, punt him out the way. Mason will be absolutely furious with that manoeuvre. Completely, not enough space for him, and it's really cost him because he's now under huge pressure from the drivers behind.
I tell you what's cost even more though. Rydog has hit the back of J.R. Mason, championship rivals, and Rydog now has wing damage in the Mercedes car. So McLaren, the top 2, what can J.R. Mason do? Can he defend against the Mercedes man even with wing damage? I don't think so. Miles is also there. Jamie's close behind as well.
Look at this as Rydog weaves left and right. Has a look down the inside. That was almost race ending for Miles and Mason. That was so close to disaster as he just...
Someone's in the wall. Yeah.
Max is in the wall. But I think we're too late for a safety car now. I think we're okay. But Mason now under huge pressure.
Yeah, Rydog up into 4th position. Not sure how that changes the championship finishing positions at the moment, Cole. Perhaps you can key it into your spreadsheet and have a quick look. Jamie trying to attack Matthias at the moment, doing everything he can to help his teammate. Matthias, though, does have end plate damage still in that Sauber. So Nicholas at the moment in prime position to try and take advantage of this. What can J.R. Mason do to defend that 5th place? Lawrence is leading, by the way. Joe in second. Quinn is going to go and try and take 2nd place at the moment. Remember, Lawrence has that penalty, so Joe's just trying to keep Quinn behind.
Yeah, so Quinn knows that if he passes Joe, which he's going to do, Nick, into turn 1, and Quinn basically leads this race. What a manoeuvre from Joe as Mason's down to 7th place. Oh, as Matthias... Oh, Mason's got... Oh, he's... Matthias spun in front of Mason. That is Mason's championship over. So unlucky. Absolutely ridiculous bad luck from Mason there. And that is Mason's championship done and dusted.
That's heartbreaking. I know, obviously, Colt, he's your dad, so it's a bitter thing to watch. I think the mistake that's cost him ultimately, Cole, was not deciding to pit.
Yes, and I think Quinn will find himself in the steward's room with a huge penalty for costing a driver a championship. I know I'm probably supposed to be a bit unbiased here, but that was a disgusting manoeuvre, which has really cost Mason quite badly here. And, you know, we ask drivers to be careful of drivers in championships. And it's going to really, Mason's going to be absolutely furious.
Well, Gazza's on the back of Proverb. It looks like McLaren are going to take the constructors. What can Gazza do in the Red Bull? Nicholas gets himself a time penalty as he moves up into 4th position ahead of Rydog. That will be his best result if he's able to finish there. And then he's retired. He spun it at turn 1 and then put it in the wall.
Oh no, that's huge. That is huge. That is massive so Mason now, he's really got to push because he's got a couple of points. Is it? I mean, we've got 1 lap to go and Mason's really struggling. But Rydog now, he's put himself in prime position. Quinn is, oh, this is going to be close at the top. Look at Lawrence and Quinn, 2.7 seconds in it. Can Lawrence eke out 3/10 just with a couple of corners to go, Nick?
Can Rydog hold off Matthias, who sends it down the inside? Matthias is putting everything on the table. There's contact between the championship rivals as we head towards the final corner of this race. What can both drivers do? They both have wing damage. The Mercedes goes deep. Sauber's used to driving with wing damage around here. What can Lawrence do? He crosses the line first. Is Quinn going to steal the race win? He does take the race win. Lawrence crosses the line in 3rd. Who's going to take 4th position? It looks like Rydog takes it. No, Jamie jumps up to 4th on no penalties. Gather jumps up to 5th goal. We didn't talk about penalties. Rydog down to 6th. Matthias down to 8th. J.R. Mason finishes in 10th position. Put those numbers into the spreadsheet, Cole. Let us know where they finish.
No idea.
But McLaren have won the Constructors' Championship. But Rydog will get 6th position. Matthias will get 8th. And in 10th place will be J.R. Mason. So how will those points affect the championship positions?
I will have a look now. This is going to be very, very, very tight. Very tight indeed. I'm just going to have a look at fastest lap as well, because that's going to be absolutely crucial. So Matthias gets... So who gets the fastest lap? Lawrence gets the fastest lap. Who gets the fastest lap in the bottom 10? That's going to be...
Nicholas?
It'd be Nicholas. So I will do the championship standings now. Let's have a look.
Because Nicholas is classified still. Even though...
So Matthias comes 8th and gets 5 points. Rydog comes 6th and gets 8 points. Let's have a look. I'm just going to see.
And your dad gets 2.
So Matthias finishes runner-up on 92 points. Mason is 3rd on 89 points. Rydog on 86 points finishes in 4th place. So Matthias who was absolutely nowhere, manages to sneak second in the championship, but Mason does get P3 in the championship. He does finish in third place.
What an end to that race. Quinn taking it on the line, the championship rivals, battling it out, and those, Jamie finishing in fourth position after doing all that to help his teammate, finished in fourth in that race. Gazza as well took fifth, when it looked like he was, not really in the picture. So they took advantage of those penalties that drivers had. Matthias, though, what a job he did to come back. He had such incredible pace all race. And Colt, we are going to need to pick our sim racing setup driver of the day before we come off air. Thank our sponsors one more time and say goodbye to everyone. But there you have it. Jacob finished your champion. Matthias finishing in P2. JR Mason finishing in third position. And McLaren winning the Constructors' Championship.
Well, my driver of the day, without a doubt, has to go to Matthias. Yes, he was very, very fortunate with the safety car, but he gave himself the opportunity to get a bit of luck. He never gave up. He just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, praying for that safety car, and does so brilliantly. And I'm so pleased for him. He thoroughly deserves it.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick as well, just to not give up when, it felt like all was lost. Wing damage, pumping in fastest laps down the further on down the race in the middle stint. But yeah, well done to him. I'm going to give mine to Jamie, who finished in fourth place, because he spent the whole race helping out his teammate, doing what was right for the team to help JR Mason secure a top 3 in the standings. And ultimately, he was the one that came away with fourth position. So well done to Jamie. And my question for you, Jamie, is well, let me get this right, actually. How much did you plan to help your teammate throughout the race? And were you surprised to finish ahead of him in fourth position when you crossed the line?
Yeah, that's a very well-deserved. I mean, he played backup for Mason all race, and then to get P4, his best result of the season, I think, as well, or equal best. He'll be delighted with that. But just in 6 minutes' time, Nick, we're going to be heading over to P2. Who's going to win? Is it Papa Squanch? Is it going to be Morgan?
Yeah, they've been neck and neck all seasons, at some points tied on points. But as they head into the final week here in Brazil, the showdown is about to commence. Of course, you've got the Constructors' battle to be decided in the P2 tier as well. And then you've got the Constructors in P1 and the Drivers' Championship in P1. So all to play for here in One Hub Racing on our season finale. And just goes to show we got the tiers pretty good. But Colt, big thanks to you for joining me in the Consbox this season. It's been a pleasure commentating on all these races with you, and I really feel, particularly these last few races of the season, 4-5 races, they've been spectacular with some close finishes. Look at the last 2 finishes we've had in Mexico and here.
Absolutely incredible racing. Huge thank you to all the drivers. Huge thank you to everyone tuning in. I mean, what a season it's been. And please stay tuned for P2 because the fireworks are going to be going.
They definitely are. Well, thank you everyone who's chosen to watch the P3 tier this season. Colin and I appreciate all your support and love. And you never know, we might find ourselves back reunited in the commentary box next season. For now, though, big thanks to SimGrid, Vespertine, Next Level Racing, Sim Racing Setups, and Pure Sim Gear for the final time this season. Thank you for all your support. And we couldn't do what we do here at One Hub Racing without you. So on to the P2 tier, Popper versus Morgan. Who's going to take the Drivers' Championship?